Crossing welcome back to the latest Fearless in Devotion. There was no game this weekend, but it's Wrexham, so news is always flowing. First thing, Wrexham Women played their first game today. A lovely 5-2 away win at Britain Ferry. Debut goals for Miriam Mahood, Katie Barker, who I think is going to be a big signing for us, and Rosie Hughes netted as well. So well done there. Anybody catch it?
No, I was following on socials, but didn't manage to catch it.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, fair play to turn a team around that quickly, because it's been quite a tight turnaround on transfers. I know they made about 4 or 5 last week, so to integrate them that quickly and hit the ground running, because the league's relentless, and we found out last season that if you lose a few, you're always playing catch up. So fair play to Jenny Sugarman's team there and her work. Right. Before we get into the sort of the main business, we're going to go through the departing stars and our sort of views and reflections on them. I just want to mention Norwich City prices. Now, it's been called Wrexham tax, and it hit us last season at Leyton Orient, where we're a premium game because they think they can sell out for it, but while I sort of understand that if there's sort of tourists maybe coming over from London who they can charge a bit more to, for us, the rank and file fans who have to travel all the way to Norwich and then pay £5 more than anyone else, like I think Middlesbrough will charge 32 quid, but we're going to be charged 37 quid. How does that sit with you, Liam?
First of all, I just want to say this podcast is sponsored by the Fat Boar Bar and Restaurant, the finest establishment in town, even though Andy hates it. I'm going to tell Rich on you. Anyway, basically, my main thought on it is, how is there a £30 cap in the Premier League, but there isn't one in the Championship? Because right away there, if that gets extended down to the Championship, then you take away that issue straight away, basically. Someone was trying to say that, oh, it happens to everyone. It's not just Wrexham. But it's like, yeah, but we always end up as the top tier game for whatever reason. Like you, I think they think perhaps they can make some money out of it or whatever, but it just doesn't really sit right. I mean, we had Barry on last week, wasn't it? So I think that's something that perhaps hopefully the trust could get involved with as well, because it just seems a bit of a strange anomaly that can exist at Premier League level, that cap, but not in the second tier.
Yeah, Tim, we don't want to get to a tit for tat, but this is the sort of thing that we then have to reciprocate when Norwich come to town. We have to put our prices up to sort of, it's like punishing fans, isn't it? And it's punishing us for coming all the way over there to Norwich, which is a hell of a trip. We're going up from even London as rail replacement, services. So it's a massive undertaking to get to a ground like that. But we want to go because we've not been to Norwich City. Well, I certainly can't remember us being there in our lifetime. So it's like we're being double whammied. What can we do here to sort of rectify that?
Not go. I mean, the ultimate way of voting is voting with your feet, isn't it? And I know that's not going to happen because, as you just said, nobody's been to Norwich. We hadn't played in since '82, I think. So,
yeah,
it's a part of the country that I've never been because I've never had cause to go. It won't be tit for tat because I can't remember who it was last season where somebody put the ticket
Orient, and we didn't do it to them.
Yeah, didn't we like make up the difference and reduce it by an amount? We definitely did it with somebody, and I can't think what it was.
Wasn't it Accrington and Andy Holt saw his back?
Yeah, it was right, it was an Accrington one. Yeah, so we kind of made a point, and I think if we were to backtrack on that, that would make that point null and void, really. So even though we're in a different level now, I get that. I just want Norwich City to explain their reasoning behind it, because it's all very well putting it up. Middlesbrough were there the other week. They paid £5 less. But I think across the board, I think it's something like, was it 37 for us? How much is it for kids or under 16s? It's still an obscene amount of money.
Yeah, it's quite expensive for kids as well.
So first things first, just tell us why. Tell us why you're charging us that and other teams a reduced rate or a normal rate. And if they say it's policing costs, then I'll be amazed, because it's not exactly a high risk match as far as I'm aware. It would be, because of the travel, etc. But you've got to look at it. The money on that ticket plus the transport plus your general spends, that is a triple figure day out for one person, let alone somebody who wants to take their kids. I know this is kind of what we signed up for. We always wanted to get to the Championship and higher, but as Liam's pointed out, there is a cap at the Premier League.
Yeah.
And I'm in a Championship group, and this was mooted the other day because a similar situation has unfolded at Coventry City, because Coventry City are charging Birmingham fans something like 45 quid, I think, so you can guarantee that will happen for us as well. So at some point soon, enough has to be enough. And I think it was something like, why don't we get behind a sort of I just came out with a snappy kind of slogan of, I think it was something like 24 for the 24, because it's 24 Championship teams and 24 quid should be where it's capped, because by the time you put in an admin fee, it's going to be 25 quid. That should be more than enough for an away day. It used to be 20's plenty. All right, that's gone up a little bit. So 24 for the 24, if I'm right in thinking that's how many Championship teams there are, would be ideal. And I think that's something that is going to be mooted and rolled out to the various supporters clubs and something from there. But it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I'm like, it is, you kind of want to make a point. So, and I know ultimately people are going to go. It's not a case of, I'm not going to pay that. People are going to pay it because they want to go. We want to be able to see this team as much as we can, as often as we can, because of what's being assembled and because of the journey we're on. So I think the only other thing to that is maybe kind of a halfway house of what Sheffield Wednesday are doing. And you know what? If you're going to go and you're going to pay the ticket, fine. Maybe make a point of not having any food or drink when you get.
That's what I was going to do on Saturday.
So maybe get your food and drink and boost the local economy in and around the ground. But maybe don't give them your money when you get in, because like I said, you're looking at a ton before you've even paid £6 for an overpriced tea or a shitty burger.
Don't mention the tea. Don't mention.
I mean, if we're paying £6 for a tea, I will lose my fragile little mind.
The simple fact is, Norwich need to explain it, but the best part that suited Norwich now, right, is that this news only came out the other day, so the tickets are going to be on sale Monday morning.
Yeah.
At which such time the vast majority of those tickets will go, and then it's very much after the fact. If they come out and go, yeah, this is the reason why. Well, it's a bit late now because we've all got a ticket. Yeah. So it kind of suits them, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to do. I'm not going to spend a single penny in that ground other than my £37, and I'm going to do a big poo, and I'm not going to flush it. So take that.
A little cocktail stick, say shove your 37.
Yeah, take that, Carrow Road. Look, it's hard, isn't it? Because last week we put 5 home games on in one go. And it's either famine or feast with that we wait to the very last minute, or we do them so far in advance that it becomes tough either way. Liam, what do you sort of think? As you know, we've got season tickets, so it's not as much of an issue for us. But I'm sort of thinking of someone who's budgeting to try and get to those 5 games, and all of a sudden has like probably over 120 quid outlay for them. It is tough. I know you probably are thinking, right, I'll put some money aside for these games because they haven't come out yet. And I also sort of think the club are thinking, tickets are so scarce, when we put them all out in one go, I think people will target certain games. So if you can't do one, you'll go for game 3 or game 4, and I am hoping it sort of spreads it out a little bit. Do you think that's fair, or do you think that it does really hurt the person who isn't a season ticket holder but does want to go each game?
I mean, I think there's a few factors to it. I mean, number one is that the club, in terms of the general sell tickets, was going to be on a hiding to nothing this season, regardless, because of the situation. No temporary cop, new stand being built, etc. So, whatever way they did it, someone was going to be disadvantaged. I've got to be honest, and I don't feel like I understand the reason for grouping them into batches of 5. I think someone mentioned, I was looking on Red Passion earlier, and they said that when the club tried to take the money out from them for one of the recent batches, it came up as like a fraud, an attempted fraud or something like that. So the bank shut it down, which just shows one of the strange quirks of it. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's the free for all option like there was before, where it's whoever can clear their cache or delete their cookies or whatever the hell it was, to get their ticket first is the winner. But I think whatever way you do it, people are going to be disadvantaged. But I just don't understand. I can understand grouping in small batches, but not five.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts me on away games that, I want to get tickets together. So that takes out I know we all sit where we want anyway, but it takes out that sort of thing. If you get there early enough, you can sit next to the person you bought the ticket with. But you're not able to do that. As a season ticket holder, I can go in and buy one ticket. And then once that ticket's bought, I then have to go back in and buy another ticket if I can. And it becomes a very laborious process. And I can see the same thing happening on these 5 tickets that you've got game 1, and then you're sort of thinking, right, now game 2, and then you're hoping the whole tech sort of works to get 3, and there's 4 gone already. It's tough. It's tough. It's stressful when maybe it doesn't need to be as stressful. Tim, another sort of thing to this. Do you think it hurts the atmosphere? And what I mean by that is like different people are sitting in the seats. There's no sort of continuity there, and they're trying to get other people in. I sort of get that, but over the last couple of seasons, especially with the temporary cop, people have been able to get in for most of the games, and they really helped the atmosphere. Do you think that's been eroded a little bit this season?
Early indications would suggest that tallies with it. Yeah, I don't think the home games so far have been any shakes really compared to what we're used to. Not consistently, sort of fits and starts really. But I mean, how many people are balloted? How many approximately? How many numbers are there?
Well, anyone who's a member really can go into that ballot.
Yeah, but how many tickets are ring fence for it?
I don't know. Liam,
Right.
do you know that?
What was that? Sorry, how many are left?
Yeah.
In the free for all? I'm not sure on the exact figure, to be honest. I mean, I think I'm sure it's certainly less than 2,000, isn't it? It's far less than that. I think maybe 1.5, something like that, but that's pure guesswork. I've just seen also that quite a few people have had money taken out, but they don't know they haven't had an email to confirm which game it's for.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have an effect, I think, but I think naturally with no temporary cop, it was always going to have that sort of an effect. Anyway, you're kind of going back to the 3 sides. You've got to then try and figure out, okay, where's the atmosphere coming from again? Bizarrely, I've not heard Manny with his drum for a while. Maybe the sound hasn't cascaded down, but I haven't heard the drum for a while. Maybe that's had an effect as well. I don't know. I mean, you could do a massive deep dive. I'm sure there are theses and studies on atmospheres in football grounds and what causes the lulls and the elation moments. But yeah, it probably does have an effect. But because ultimately, at the end of the day, whoever's coming in and might not be used to sort of regular attendances, they just want to enjoy the spectacle.
Well, they might be sitting in a different place.
Yeah, of course.
And you chant with your mates, don't you? I mean, that's how.
Yeah, and that's something that I hope the club get right going forward, like when the cops spoke, because I think there was something in the small print when the initial plans for the cop were announced about. I think it said people that season ticket holders are going to get first refusal as to whether they want to move into the new cop. Then there is the issue of like where are you going to, if possible, if you got the 12th man that's in the tech end, let's pretty much, let's say for certain, almost certainly the tech end is going to go to away fans in future. That's pretty much going to be certain.
I'd say so, yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So let's say then, right, okay, tech end guys, however many there are of you that will sing together, let's just say it's 100, right, for the sake of it. They should, the club should be saying, if you want a block, take your block, and this will be the block in the cop. After season tickets holders get stuff, if there's an area where they could conceivably all gather and they're happy with that, then that works. I mean, it's something that Huddersfield did and might still do, and I always thought it was quite an interesting thing to use as an example. But their supposed ultras, if you like, were given a block at the Alfred McAlpin Stadium, whatever it's called now, and they basically said, "This is your block. You make the tifos, you make the banners, you make the noise, you make the spectacle, but this block will be yours, your responsibility. It's yours to look after, it's yours to clean up. When you finish with the banners and the tifos, you put it in the wheelie bins at the front. So you're given an element of ownership and responsibility. Now, if we can mimic something like that, as and when the time comes, you're already fostering and harnessing what already exists, but kind of hoping to enhance it and foster it. And I think that's something that the club should look at going forward, because I know we laugh, but once they start finally getting some work on that cop, it will fly up.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I noticed that in Germany, they're very good at having an area that creates the noise.
British football hasn't got a patch on European football, nowhere near. And I don't know if it's because it's frowned upon or whether there's elements still cascading down from sort of the Hillsborough stuff, and we're still feeling our way around safe standing. They do it very differently in Germany. You've experienced it, probably. I've experienced it. It's just amazing. It's amazing. As long as it's right. I mean, you can go to maybe some Polish games and it can be a bit more
Too much.
sketchy, So yeah, it's a difficult one, but hopefully they get it right and it doesn't become too far in the way where it's like, oh well, I don't know if I can be arsed singing, or if somebody says, "Come on, get behind them," well, I don't have to. You pay your money. You're not obliged to sing, are you?
No, I know, and that's why away atmospheres are a lot different and a lot better, because you are sort of congregating with your mates to bring the noise, and you can't do that in a ground, especially reduced capacity one. I do understand that,
but I think there's elements of apathy towards the home stadium, because whichever way you look at it, it's exciting times, to get me wrong, but when you keep going to the racecourse week in, week out, or every other week, it's like, oh yeah, great. But when you go into like Norwich, for example, none of us have been to Carrow Road. We know it's yellow and green. You get excited about where you're going to, so you've already got that fever pitch and excitement, and it's already there if you even got into the ground. So I think that naturally just comes with away games.
No, fair enough. Just a quick bit of news. Good to see this week that the club handed over £37,500 to Wrexham Supporters Trust to hand to the Sheffield Wednesday Supporters Trust. So good work all round on that one. And I think a lot of anyone who bought a shirt from the Sheffield Wednesday fans are now donating them back. So it's nice to see. It's a good sort of circle of life there. And if we can help out clubs in need, I'm sure we will. Right, 25-man squad announced today. For me, earlier last week, the 25-man squad. A few big omissions, Liam. Obviously, no Ward due to injury. I think he's going to be out for a couple of months. Ollie Rathbone's injury seems a little bit worse than we thought. I mean, he sort of walked off the pitch, didn't he, in the preseason tour? I think it was at Melbourne Victory. But if he's not in the squad, he's not likely to be back anytime soon, is he?
No, I spotted someone on social media said they'd spoken to his dad, Mick Rathbone, who's obviously
He should know. He's a bloody
a physio, and he was saying that this ankle injury is perhaps worse than was expected. So it's one of those, how long is a piece of a string? I mean, we'll probably go into things on this front a bit more in terms of how to use that space, but I do wonder if Parky might just use that space and wait and see, who's quickest back from injury or that sort of thing, because we've got quite a few on there, haven't we?
Yeah, another one, Andy Cannon, obviously injured last season at Mansfield, Tim. Even when Andy regains full fitness, can you see him troubling the matchday squad?
No.
Do you think it might be another one who might?
Yeah, I think we've had this period now, haven't we, when we've had this massive 6 degrees of separation from the old guard. It's just like, see you later, thanks, see you later, great, thanks for coming, bye. You'll never have to buy a pint in Wrexham again, but thanks, take care, all the best. So I genuinely, as much as I like and I've loved Andy Cannon, especially the fact that he won, he ended up, was it 4 promotions in a row, because he got promoted with Stockport as well before us. Yeah. I just don't see how we can fit back in. But I mean, unless we, barring a complete disaster with the midfield complement we have, and more injuries bite or players just play themselves out of form, I just don't see how he can get back in there. It may well be a loan move. I don't know. But wouldn't surprise me if Stockport came calling not having the best of times at the moment. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation, but again, sometimes absence doesn't make the heart grow fonder. He's kind of been out the picture. We've had all these shiny new toys come in. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
great, brilliant. And then, but don't get me wrong, if he was fit and he was invited back into the fold and he was included in the matchday squad, we'd all be delighted. But I just genuinely, I'm struggling to see it happening.
Yeah. Another one who didn't make it is Jay Rodriguez. Now, there's been some rumours, Liam, that he may even retire, and I don't really want to call time on someone's career, but I've heard that consistently over the last couple of weeks. I mean, he hasn't. He's not been in the squad, and you would have thought if he was going to do that, not making the squad may be the catalyst for him to sort of say, "Look, I'm hanging up my boots," but that hasn't been the case, has it?
No, like you said, people have spoken about it as if it's a fact, but nothing's materialized. I think the first time it cropped up was maybe fortnight, 3 weeks ago, something like that. And again, the squad announcement time would be the time that if you'd made your mind up, I think you would announce it because it's obviously the right opportunity. But wait and see with that one. It's yeah, just a few of these injuries we've had where you've expected to see players back, and then as time goes by, you wonder if you're ever going to see them play in a Wrexham shirt again. So it's going to be an interesting one to watch. I mean, I think we'll come on to, well, we've touched on Ward, but that one's going to be a long while. So yeah, it's not great on the injuries front. I don't feel like so far this season. It's been a bit of I don't think that's helped us.
No. Sorry, yeah. One of the major ones who didn't get into the squad was Eoghan O'Connell. 3 promotions with us. Played everywhere across the back line. Famously passed to himself in the Notts County game, which which I don't think any of us will forget for the third goal. That led to his departure, Tim. It's
Well, not the pass to himself.
no, that led to us going up.
Yes.
But him not making that 25, he took instant action. The contract was cancelled by mutual.
His consent. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it is sorry to see him go, but it was a straight fight between him and Scar for that last defensive place, and it looks like Dan Scar has got it. Do you think Owen's unlucky not to get in just because he could play anywhere across the back line?
Yeah, a little bit, and it's weird because if you ask 20 Wrexham fans on the street now and ask them what their thoughts on Owen O'Connell, you probably get a mixed response. You'll get people who say he was brilliant last year, he was player of the season for the most part, and you'll get other people who'll hone in on
Yeah, the
maybe some of
Barnsley away.
some of the errors and the sort of that shone maybe the spotlight on a bit of slowness there. But I think he is unlucky. I do. But again, it's like he's I think he's one of 10 players that experienced the triple promotions. There's not many that have done the three. So clearly there was a move on the cards for him, which didn't materialize before the
it was
window
Wickham, wasn't
shut.
it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, and it'll probably come to pass that when he does land a club and he does his interview, he'll probably say, to be fair to the club, they said, look, we don't want you to sort of kicking your heels around here, going in the reserves and stuff like that.
You're too good for that. You're too
Yeah,
old,
and
too experienced. You're worth something to another club.
The club have paid him up and said, good luck. Here's a golden handshake, for want of a better phrase. Thank you for your service. Go forth and get regular game because that's exactly what he deserves.
Yeah,
and he probably will get it at probably League One level. I don't see another Championship
League One now.
Pardon?
He can't go, Liam, I'm right in thinking he can't go to League One now. He can't go to League One or League Two, but he could do a top non-league club. He could go to Scotland, to Ireland.
Yeah. I think it's to do with the paperwork had to be done before the transfer window closed. Essentially,
he wasn't a free agent, was he? Before
yeah, which
window?
restricts him somewhat. I half wonder if I don't know. I think maybe it's a dangerous game to play at the stage he's at in his career, where you take some time off and then people have forgot. People forget before you know it, don't they? So
fitness-wise, Owen's a big unit. He
yeah,
needs to play games, doesn't he?
yeah, definitely. So it's quite restricted. I mean, I suppose being Irish though, that option might be attractive to him. So it's a case of let's see where he goes. But there were rumours that he was going to Wickham at the end of the transfer window, but that never materialised, did it? So
Yeah. I wonder if Scotland might be a good home for him. He started at Celtic.
yeah.
We've seen that Dalby can go to their top league and do well. I'm sure Owen could as well with the experience he's got.
Sign of a good player like Eoghan O'Connell in one regard, because you've got your big characters, the Mullins, the Lees, the Palmers. I think with O'Connell, he was always solid, if not spectacular. He just got on with it. He was there. He was dependable. No nonsense.
Good pass on him as well. He could play.
Yeah, and I think again, just the latest in a very long line of people who've kind of fallen foul of our success ultimately in the end. And I think there was some sort of report in the BBC that I read before, so it's no longer welcome to Wrexham, it's farewell to Wrexham. It's probably about right.
Oh, that is a great segue into a little sort of feature I'm going to dub Farewell to Wrexham, where we're just going to sort of briefly mention the guys who have left. It's like, that bit in the Oscars where they put up all the people who died that year. Everyone just goes, oh.
Disclaimer, none of these players have died. Not that we're aware of at the time of writing this, God forbid.
Well, I mean, Will Boyle's dead to me by going to Shrewsbury. So, let's go through the loans first before we go to the permanent deals. Obviously, the big loan out is Mullin. It wasn't a surprise when it happened. He scored a great goal yesterday. That was pure Mullin, by the way. Absolutely on the shoulder, had enough pace to get past the defender, was ice cool in the box, finished it really well. I'm really pleased to see that. And I'm glad that the Wigan fans are really starting to see the best of Mullin. Simple question, Tim. If he does bag 20 for Wigan, can you ever see him playing for us again? Or is that gone now?
I mean, the romantic in me says I'd love it, but I think it's gone. I just don't see it. And I know I got a bit of heat when I said, I thought his comments were very telling on the documentary. He said, I'm not sure if the manager trusts me. As soon as you say something like that you kind of almost suggest that there is a bit of a falling out. I don't know. We'll know in the years to come, won't we? If he does a republishing of his book and there's a wraparound and a bit of a few extra chapters. But I'd love it. I'd love it if he did bag a shitload for Wigan. It just puts him in the shop window for another move elsewhere, and no doubt he will land a good move elsewhere, wherever that may be. I just genuinely don't see it happening with us. And as much as I'd love it to, it was crushing the end of that episode where he basically says,
well, we knew, didn't we?
He said, "I'd love it. I'd love it to continue my story, but I just don't see it." And I have to echo it, the man's very own thoughts. I can't see it changing.
Liam, same for you.
Yeah, I'd love it to happen actually. And like you said, I thought that was pure Paul Mullin, that goal running down the channel. Great kick by the goalkeeper. But that looked like Paul Mullin, back in his prime. So I'm not going to jump the gun on that one, but I'd love to see him bag a load of goals. Do I think it'll happen? No, I think we've become very unsentimental as a club, and you can chat about the rights and wrongs of it. But I understand it, but I am sad when, especially players like Paul Mullin, are no longer at the club.
Yeah, it's the same here. I can't really see him coming back. I'd love him to get a big last move. I think that would be nice for him to go to like a proper League One challenging club like a Huddersfield or something after this loan spell, get himself a good payday and really be the main man again. Working through the rest of the loans, Jake Bickerstaff has gone to Cheltenham. Again, I can't see him coming back or doing anything for us. I think that's probably his sort of exit out. I just hope after this he plays some games at Cheltenham and manages to get a league club. Callum Edwards has gone to Southport on loan, who's a young lad. Seb Revan has gone to Burton, who seem to be our feeder club, or we feed them. Someone feeds someone at Burton. Again, Tim, can you see a redemption for Seb Revan? I think for me, I really liked it when he came into the team last season, but I just thought his game against Reading was so poor that it was going to take a lot of injuries for him to get back in. And I think even though he did quite well for a little spell against Mansfield, you've got to grasp that opportunity. I think, he just wasn't. He was comfortable, he was solid, but he wasn't taking players on, and he wasn't committing them with the pace he has.
He lacks urgency, maybe a little bit of desire, and I don't know if that's because he came from Villa, where there's a bit more mollycoddled. Maybe that's a very unfair thing for me to say, and that's quite.
Well, if you think that's an unfair thing for Tim to say, please comment in the YouTube
and email Andrew Gilpin at Hotmail.
No, don't. Well,
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it was his style of play that kind of infuriated me at times. But I genuinely can't think of that many good games he had. He had a half decent game at Blackburn when we got walloped in the cup.
Yeah.
And I was excited by the idea that we were getting a player from Villa. Obviously,
we paid money for him as well. I mean,
things have moved on dramatically since. But again, hopefully goes there, does well, and let's face it, most of the people we're going to be talking about, almost certainly 90% of them ain't going to be coming back here in any way, shape, or form to have any sort of impact. It'd be amazing if they did, and yes, Seb Revan is one of those that will go and have an impact elsewhere, but for one reason or another, it didn't quite happen.
No, it didn't. No, he didn't let anyone down. It's just he didn't fulfill the potential I thought he had for.
Well, he definitely got potential. Yeah, you're right.
The attributes that guy's got, he should have been better for us. 2 went to Peterborough. Liam Tom O'Connor, who maybe a bit unlucky that because he was quite versatile, maybe he could have made a claim for that last defensive place, but he didn't. He's gone to Peterborough with Jacob Mendy. Now, again, I think we're all a little surprised when Mendy got a new deal. Maybe we thought that was slightly strange decision by the club. But O'Connor's got the talent and he's young enough to come again, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think the only problem he's got really is that we got him in as a midfielder, or so we thought originally. And then as it turned out, he played very few games there and was used more often than not left centre back. So I wonder if he's one of those players who, by being a utility man, sort of being unselfish, didn't really have his. I mean, he was very solid at left centre back. The times he played there, but
I think pace was the thing he lacked a little.
It's one of those where as we got to challenging at the top of League One, there was one or two of the centre backs who you just thought, yeah, okay for now, but we've seen in the Championship already how much you get punished for mistakes, how fast the attackers are in this division. So I think that's why some of those players have fallen by the wayside. Jacob Mendy, not a huge surprise, I don't think. I want him to do well at Peterborough.
He's a nice kid, isn't he? Fair play,
And I met him in the pizza place after.
Who could forget?
Yeah, he hasn't forgotten that. He still thinks about it regularly.
I mean, that's what he said when the Peterborough move came about. He was there. Well, I would like to go and play regular first team football, but me and Liam shared that moment in that takeaway, and
our eyes met.
Another one. I'd like another one of those. It was like Lady and the Tramp, wasn't it? You were both eating a pepperoni pizza and met in the middle.
Pizza Butter United.
Tim, you said that 80 to 90% of these loanees will never come back and play for us again. The one that may have a chance is Mo Faal, just because he's such a divisive character, isn't he? Look, he's like Revan. He's got all the raw ingredients to be a fantastic player, because not only is he tall and powerful, but he's got skill and he's unpredictable. What we really, really need him to do is go to Port Vale and bag a hatful and not get subbed at half time like he did on Saturday. Can you see Big Mo really doing it there?
Chance.
No foul.
No foul. I mean, Port Vale fans have gone from he's wonderful to like they absolutely.
But he can be both.
Knives out for him already. Difficult, isn't it? to think like within the last 12 months he was our record signing, which is bonkers, and just didn't happen. Happened a little bit in the EFL Trophy, little fleeting moments, but again, just a weird player, like he's put together in sort of Frankenstein's castle. Like, we'll stick these massive legs on. He's like somebody said he's like a modern day Kevin Francis, but not as good. Which I think is probably unfair because Kevin Francis was a very, very good player for Stockport County, particularly. But like he's got again, similar to Revan, he's got all the attributes. He's tall, he's rangy. What either he's not playing to his strengths, or the team he's with are not playing to those strengths yet. So yeah, but again, I just don't see it. There's not a chance, not a cat's cat and hell's chance of him playing for Wrexham again. I think it's an almost impossibility, given where we're going, what we're spending, and what we're likely to spend again in January.
No, yeah, I think he's been a victim of that. I think he was victim of us going, being able to get promotion last year meant that we couldn't play him and we couldn't test him for 10 games because we needed to, there was no grey areas. There's no sort of parts. If you were mid-table, you could maybe give him 10 games. We weren't. We were always fighting for it. And you needed people who were the finished article.
Imagine if we hadn't gone up, how many of these players would be kept? A very interesting question.
Yeah. I think it would be less than half out the door. So yeah, one word on Faal, Liam. Do you think he'll come back at all?
No. Port Vale fans have got it in, like Tim said, have got it in the neck for him already. And it's one quick question I just had is, how many players can you think of in the sort of Rob and Ryan era have left the club and then really gone on to shine somewhere else? I mean, it's a strange one because I follow, like most people, I sort of tend to keep an eye out on former players, and I just see, up and down the country. There's bound to be exceptions. I mean, I know Luke Young's still a regular for Cheltenham, isn't he? And players like that. But by and large, it reminds me a bit of the Wales squad of 2016, who did amazingly in that tournament, and then sort of a lot of them got big moves, things didn't work out, and things like that. I don't know. That's just my perception, but I wondered what you thought.
You say big move, and then Joe Allen inexplicably signed for Stoke. I'll never, ever forgive him for that. Ever. Joey Allen, who's getting a special award on Tuesday when Wales play Canada in the friendly at Swansea. Yeah, he should look back at that moment and be thoroughly ashamed of himself. Everybody said he was going to go to like France and play for Nice or something, and like ends up at Stoke. Madness. Horrible.
I think on that, Liam, I think we bought players at a certain time in their career, and we used them for a very specific aim, which is basically get us out of the leagues that we were in. I don't think we ever thought there was resale value on a lot of the players we were buying in. We may have thought that O'Connor had resale value. We may have thought that we could make some money back off Faal, but the rest of them, I don't really think we ever thought that. I think they were there to serve a very specific need. Let's start looking at the players who have left permanently. I mean, maybe we should hurry this up a little bit, but I'll go through some of the bottom tier ones. Luke McNicholas has gone to Forest Green Rovers on a free. I mean, he played a couple of trophy games for us, didn't he? So I can't really.
Part of the Robbie Savage revolution. They're top,
yeah,
aren't they?
Yeah. Luke Bolton's gone to Mansfield.
He also revealed he is not a wing back, but I think we already knew that. So,
what is he then?
He says he's a winger.
Oh, okay. So it's our fault it didn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, it is his fault for saying, "All right, I'll sign for 3 years." Then you play wing backs, do you? Oh, you signed the wrong guy. Never mind. Another like Dalby. We've sort of made our peace with Sam Dalby going.
Is he still injured, or is he on the bench for Bolton?
He came on for half an hour, I think, either in midweek or on Saturday.
A Bolton fan said on X, Sam Dalby is made of wardrobes, which I just thought was very funny, to be fair.
Okay. Not quite IKEA wardrobes. I mean,
probably. Well, no, I think in the sense that he's big,
mm,
maybe a little bit wooden in his play. I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? Again, because
yeah.
had all the upper body strength, massive dude for his age.
Doesn't use it, does he?
I think
Not
might be
enough.
I think the Scottish Premiership suited him down to the ground, though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But clearly, personal circumstances or whatever, or more money led him to Bolton. But I do think that league really suited him really well.
Yeah.
I think he'll still score goals there, though. I still think.
Yeah, I mean, my thing with Dalby is, and this is what happened to him at Dundee United, is he started well. I think he is a confidence player more than anyone else, and if he starts well, it will flow through him. He'll take chances, and he'll earn that bit of sort of money in the bank in case he needs it if he goes through a dry spell. It's very tough for him now because he's missed most of pre-season to come in and really influence things from the bench. I feel the injury has really hurt Sam. He needed to carry on that confidence he had from his Dundee United days, and he hasn't been able to. Mark Howard's left with everyone sent him our best regards when he left. He was a great character for us. The good thing about Mark was he came in and didn't complain when he went out, and I think that was key for it because he in one or two game bursts he was absolutely fine for us. He's starting for Salford. Good luck to him.
Yeah.
Will Boyle, we sort of touched on this. He's gone to Shrewsbury. Any animosity of him going there, Tim?
Pardon?
Any animosity of Will Boyle going?
No, not really, because
we're not in the same league. Well,
there's that aspect. Plus, he's very. It's difficult to have any animosity against Will Boyle. To be honest, he's just like he came in, started well, scored a couple of headers, got equally as many red cards, and that was it. That was the end of him pretty much. And then he disappeared, came back with a full head of hair, got married. It's like a mad whirlwind of a sort of time at Wrexham.
Are we sure it's the same Will Boyle and it's not
definitely the same Will Boyle.
You know what? It reminds me. Everyone seen that Simpsons episode where Apu has 7 minutes to have a party, and all sort of calamity happens within a couple of minutes. That's Will Boyle's Wrexham career, and they all fall in the pool at the end. Look, we'll always have Will Boyle. Some players come in and you completely forget they ever played for you. I will never forget Will Boyle. So that's his gift to us.
If he takes Shrewsbury down, it can be an even bigger gift to us.
So, that would be great. That would be great. One player that Liam, you sort of touched on it, that people leave us and don't tend to do very well. One player who I think can is Jordan Davies at Fleetwood, because I think they will see what they've got there and build a team around him. And we all know that a fit and firing and a confident Jordan Davies is something to behold. And I'd really want him to do well there. And I like the fact it's quite close to Wrexham, so he hasn't had to move that far. He's obviously got business interests in the town as well. I'm happy that he started well, and there's some glowing reviews from him from Fleetwood fans, so I'm really pleased about that.
Yeah, definitely. Parky's first season, Jordan Davies was absolutely on fire, involved in every goal. We all know he's got the attributes there. He's been through a tough patch where, because of us propelling up the leagues and having injuries, he hasn't quite been able to establish himself. I think it could have worked out at Grimsby had it not been for injuries.
Yeah.
And then he's had a taste a bit this summer of, my career's at a crossroads here. Really did well in that. Was it the PFA team, wasn't it? That played over the summer, really shone in that and got the move to Fleetwood. So I really do hope he can kick on, because the difference he made for us when he came back to Wrexham at a time when we were down in the doldrums, and we thought this lad is absolutely class. And if it wasn't for the Robin Ryan era, I think he would have been a key player for us for many years to come. So everyone was wishing him the best, and like you say, I think still the right age, still got all the potential. So fingers crossed for Jordan Davies.
Yeah, word on Jordan, Tim.
Every time Jordan Davies starts for Fleetwood or I see you start. Do you know that infamous clip in Only Fools and Horses where Uncle Albert is told to act surprised and he does
Right.
a I'm basically like that every time I hear that Jordan Davies is playing for Fleetwood, primarily because I want him to escape injury because he's had such bad luck with
Yeah.
injuries. Unbelievable. To the point I thought, you know what, he might jack it in. I genuinely thought he might have jacked it in. Because I think the PFA thing definitely helped
He was
prove to
so.
him.
I wasn't
Yeah,
watching highlights, but bloody hell, he was
I
running.
think that helped prove to himself that I've
He could
still
do it.
got this, and
Yeah,
I'm a cut above to what else is here.
yeah.
And I think it was only a matter of time that people were looking at him. I think there was a couple of clubs down south from what we've been told that
Newport, I think, were one, weren't
I
they?
think Cambridge were looking as well. So there's a few. So yeah, Fleetwood's not a million miles away. He can commute, can't he? It's not
Yeah.
too bad at all for him. So I genuinely hope it works out for him because A, he's a good footballer, but B, he's a really nice guy. So I hope it works out for him.
Definitely. Right, we're getting to the end of this. Oh, Liam, gorgeous George Evans.
Hey, what a beautiful man. Bloody hell.
Oh, honestly, the flowing locks. He was just class. Just class.
I mean, and even if he wasn't, you could just sit there and just look at him. But no, he was great for someone when he came in League Two season, thinking
he was too good for League Two.
yeah, this guy's going to
Too good
be
for League Two.
ridiculously good for us. And then again, just through circumstance, things didn't quite work out. I know I heard a few people saying they wondered if he might get tried out at centre back this season. I just think from what I've seen,
I was one of them.
I just think from what I've seen, I don't know if he has the pace to do that. He's got the class on the ball. You know, he could be a decent ball carrying player, but I just think, you know, as far as pace goes, we struggled at the start of this season, and I think he would as well in that position. But it's sort of a case of what might have been with George Evans, because I truly thought he was going to come in and be, you know, starting every match. Yeah, I'll miss his beautiful face.
Yeah. Jack Marriott will always have that. I know we sort of touched on him last week, and you know, just that spell that he had showed us what he could do to him. Again, he was unlucky with injuries. I think we wish him the best at Reading and just hope he doesn't come back to haunt us, really.
Yeah, it turns out he can play in that game. That third round.
can he?
By all accounts, yeah. A little known rule change that. So yeah. So again, one of those where he came in from a high level, and helped the process along, didn't he? When he started, I think we were there at Peterborough last season when he got a deflected goal. I think there's a couple of deflected goals he got. Nothing will top that. The World against Wycombe, which he was robbed for as goal of the season. It was definitely goal of the season. Come on, 100%.
Well, it was the setup as well, the assist.
Yeah, but all of it, the setup, the assist, the sort of the artistry to get over the ball, because if he doesn't get over it, it goes to the train station, that ball, no doubt about it. So yeah, again, one of those players that, you know, mentioned Will Boyle, one of those players that it's hard. How can you dislike them? They've come in, given their all. It hasn't worked out. They've not said anything bad about the club.
They've not been a dick, you know.
Not been a dick, but and even if they do have any grievances, they probably expressed that privately, and you know that's fair enough, isn't it? But I think they've come. I think in a funny way, anybody who comes to Wrexham, they kind of like there's a sprinkling of stardust, and they go elsewhere. It's like, oh wow, tell us about the Wrexham story. Whether it's more short lived for them or it's a bit bigger, like Ollie Palmer. And Ollie Palmer's now taking great delight in holding court down in Swindon, telling everybody
Talking about
that Robin Ryan are now Swindon fans. So he loves it. So that thing will follow him wherever he goes. It'll be the same for Jack Marriott, it'll be the same for Mo Faal to a lesser extent. But yeah, good luck to him. And again, nice for him to get that winning penalty as his last sign off for Wrexham against Hull.
Yeah. And the last one, please mention in the comments if we've forgotten anyone. I think we've got everyone. Last one, Stephen Fletcher, the ultimate cult hero. I think not just the way he played, but the way he looked, the way he sort of came from nowhere. Really, remember we didn't get Luke Armstrong, and everyone was there. Oh no, this is a disaster. And we ended up getting someone absolutely brilliant who
scored twice the other day, Luke Armstrong.
Yeah, who changed games or helped us hold on to games in the last 15, 20 minutes. The ultimate super sub. It was never going to work in the Championship. I think you can see that now that teams are quicker and stronger over the 90 minutes. I don't think he would have had the same impact. So I could understand why he was released. It's still sad to see him go because he brought so much to us. Liam, he hasn't got a club yet. I know now the transfer window has slammed shut. He may do what he did with us, as in, be picked up because a transfer fell through. But can you really see him playing again? He hasn't officially announced his retirement, has he?
He was asked about it at some golf event. I think he was like, it was basically to the effect of, I'm 90% sure that I'm going to retire. Hasn't made it official. I noticed he set up some sort of golf thing with, was it Phil Jagielka? Not quite sure what the project is yet, but the man does love his golf. He is one of those where I sometimes, like you say, maybe it'd be different in the championship. When you looked at our bench,
Yeah,
sometimes and you think, oh, what have we got off there at the minute with primarily because of all the injuries we've had at the start of the season, but didn't have many game changers on there recently. But like you say, is it a step too far? Can we afford to carry a player who, can only really do that 20 minute slot? Probably not, but I just think didn't spend a penny on him in terms of transfer fees or anything like that. What a player we got for those 2 seasons. The impact he had coming off the bench, absolutely superb impact. So I can't, we've had several over the years, but for me, he's. I know people will say, is it John Paskin's always the?
I mean, the romanticized. No one can really remember John Paskin. Did
he exist?
Yeah. He's a myth or a gas. Look, Fletcher and Jag sounds like a brilliant crime drama. I think they're two military policemen who were solving crimes in air bases with sexy results. So I will look
the
forward
curious
to that
case of John Paskin trumps your crime drama. Can't believe the John Paskin slander there. The man had a golden moustache and was from South Africa. What more do you want?
Okay, yeah, we swapped him for James Kelly, didn't we?
James Kelly got convicted of manslaughter, by the way.
Okay, so we got the best end of the deal. We got a few subs.
Jesus.
All right. Okay. On that note, look, I think just to sum up, all those players will, as you said earlier, Tim, will never have to buy a drink in Wrexham again. We value all of their contributions for what they've done to us to get us where we are. And we've probably overachieved, especially going from League One to the Championship quicker than probably any of us thought it would happen. And they've been the victims of that we've had to go in with that mammoth transfer window and shift a lot of them out. It's a shame, but the likes of Fletcher, the likes of Marriott, we won't forget their contributions, and we will always remember them. I mean, I touched on this like last time, but there's certain teams that I completely remember from every single player. The 2002, 2003 team, the team in 2011, 2012, or again, I know exactly positions and even who would come in for them. They are lasered seared on my brain, those teams. And I think certainly the non-league champions and the 3 promotions will be exactly the same. And we'll romanticize about these players in 10, 15 years. And we'll always look out for them, and they'll always be welcome back. Right, leads us to the last question on this. Liam, out of that list, who would you have kept?
Paul Mullin. Simple answer, just because of what he's done. Felt like he deserved a shot. Don't think we'll see him now, but I still struggle with that one because I think Ollie Palmer got the send-off he deserved, but Mullin didn't.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Tim, same for you?
No. Stephen Fletcher.
Stephen Fletcher. Okay.
Yeah, just because somebody made the point the other day that if, God forbid this doesn't happen if he plays at Swansea, by the way, if match winner for Wales at the weekend in Kazakhstan, Kiefer Moore, suddenly got injured, what is the game plan with replacing him? And I looked at his goal at Millwall, and Kiefer Moore didn't have to do a lot. He raised his arm where he raised his arm where he wanted it. The movement was minimal, and Stephen Fletcher can do exactly the same thing. Like, doesn't need to move a lot because his experience gets him there. He knows where to go, and he saw that over and over again. And I think I might have said, "Oh yeah, maybe he couldn't have done it at this level." But the more this goes on, the more I'm inclined to think that sometimes you just can't buy class, and he still had it. I think he still had it, and so I think I'd love to have had him back. A, because he is a big Scottish Viking Jesus, and B, he's got a great celebration, which Harry Ashfield has kind of almost taken on.
For me, I know I mentioned Mullin last week as someone I'd like to keep. I mean, if I can't go back to that well, I would have probably liked to have seen George Evans stay, just because I think he could have played in that defensive role and maybe could have been a backup to Cody.
And he's beautiful.
Yeah, and he's got that range of passing. He would have better centre halves. You say he's got no pace. Well, Connor Cody's not lightning, and maybe George in the middle of that back three with two quicker defenders around him. I think it would be a classy back line. So maybe George
is beautiful.
You'll have to go to Burton to get your George Evans fix now, won't you?
I know.
Along with your Seb Revan fix, and who else have they got there?
Jason,
they've had about 6 players off us.
Jones is there, isn't he?
They had a few. They had a few that didn't.
Ford
they let go
there,
of.
Wasn't he?
Ford was there, but is now without a club, I think. Where's John Daddy? Where's John Daddy?
He went back to Iceland, I think. Not the supermarket. I think he went back to the country.
John Daddy Bordadson.
Yeah,
that's how you pronounce it. I was so good that he never really materialised with us.
Right, on that bombshell, I think we should end this. Any other business, lads?
Players in international duty. I always mentioned Kiefer Moore. I thought it was great. First Wrexham played score for Wales since 2006. Christopher Allen, but apparently first in a competitive game that wasn't a friendly since Mickey Thomas.
Yeah, 78.
Which is madness. Yeah, that's wild. I think Issa Kabore played for Burkina Faso. I'm not sure what. I can't remember what.
6-0 they won.
He wasn't wearing the leopard print pants though, so
okay. Yeah. Dom Hyam didn't feature for Scotland. I don't think he was in the matchday squad for their game. Obviously, he's in the squad, but he wasn't in the matchday squad. And who else? There was one more I want to say. No, because Katche pulled out the New Zealand squad, didn't he? So you can concentrate on returning back to full fitness.
Yeah, and Broadhead and Ward obviously didn't travel with Wales. Yeah. Did Broadhead travel, or did he?
No, I don't think he travelled. So yeah, but it's one of those, isn't it? That'll come full circle.
Oh, it's made me sad. It made me sad talking about all these ex-players. But we know that we had to revamp this squad, and there would be casualties along the way.
The fact that we're sad, right? You said before that these players are victims. The thing that we're victims to is the emotional investment that we put into it, because they put the same amount of emotion into it as well. You could see it was more than just a paycheck for them. It was more than just being part of the documentary. It was like, I want to be part of the P word. I don't want to say it, but I want to be part of it. I don't want it to be a success, because if you go there and you don't make it a success, nobody's going to remember you. So the fact that all the players that we've mentioned, whether they played 50 games, 5 games, scored 20 goals or 2 goals, like you said, every one of them played a significant part, no matter how big or how small. Because ultimately,
Luke Bolton winning that penalty against Mansfield. Look,
which was a massive dive, massive dive.
It makes it even better. Brilliant. Exactly. Well done, Luke.
Thanks, Luke Bolton. You earned your 3-year contract on that moment alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, good times.
Yeah.
Andy's going to go and cuddle his octopus now because
it's called George.
He's sad.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope the octopus doesn't leave me. That someone comes in and they got, we got a better stuffed toy now, and you have to boot this one out. Right, I'm not booting out the octopus. Okay, thanks everyone. Please like and subscribe. And yeah, there's a newsletter. Go and do that as well.
There might be a midweeker looking at the QPR game, probably, maybe.
Yeah. We'll carry this on. All right. Cheers, guys. Good to speak. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.